Hi guys, welcome to Charities Bubble USA, your #1 channel. I hope that you're doing fine. I'm also doing very much okay. I'm going to work. I'm going to work because, like I told you, I am so broke. I have to go to work a few days. Even if I am studying, I have to go to work. So I'm gonna do a quick video before I get to work. I have 12 minutes to drive. So I'm gonna video, and for those who have subscribed to my channel, the new people, thank you for subscribing. For the people who have been there for a while, thank you for your support. I do appreciate your support. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly consider subscribing. My name is Charity Nganga. I do have a few questions that I saw over there that I'm gonna talk about, so that we can roll and know what we need to do. Now, I have how many questions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 questions. I hope that I'll be done by the time I reach there. And I just want to show you how it looks. It looks so beautiful, guys. The grass is coming back. The trees are coming back. You know, it looks really good. Now, there was this person who was talking about leaving their kids. Like I said on my previous video, you can leave your children. If you have someone that you can trust, you can leave your kids, and then you leave your kids, and then you go for them. But remember, the duration is just 6 months, because you got the visa on the same day, so you have to look at that time frame of 6 months. And then you are going to be able to go for them, which is very easy. Like I told you, when you come here, the jobs are many. As soon as you've gotten your paperwork, you will get a job that you will be able to sustain yourself. There was also another question about another lady. She was looking, I think, at the numbers, and she was saying if she wins the DV lottery, she doesn't know if she's able to raise the money. There's something that I always talk about, guys. Like, when you are on your journey to do the DV lottery, you have to be think about finances. Where are the finances gonna come from? But the DV lottery kind of breaks it down for you. Of course, the processing, that one you have to do. But if you really cannot raise the fare, because she was talking about the fare, then that's when you come in, you work, or maybe you come in with your spouse, you work, and then you go and get your kids. So one spouse comes in, they work for 2-3 months, and then you go home and get your kids. That's how it works, guys. That's how it works. I know since COVID, the plane fees, the ticket, it's so high, and it has affected everybody. I had decided that as soon as I was done with school, I was gonna go home this summer. That was my plan. But then we looked at our finances at this moment, and we were like, we can't travel right now because I've just finished school, and there is so much that needs to be done before we become more stable, and then we are able to go back home, because it requires a lot of money. Like, for example, if I wanted to go back home right now, it would take me, even just the ticket only, in my whole family members, it will be more than $10,000. So I understand that part, but you have to be able to at least raise the money for processing your visa, up to going for the interview, and then decide who am I gonna leave my kids with. And then from there, you go from there, because some people do that, and they are able to come work, and then they are able to go and get their family, and life is good, so long as you don't extend that time, because if you extend that time, that's another story that you will have to go through. Okay, so there's another person. I talked about driving in my previous video, and I got a question about driving, whereby this person was like, they are driving in France. Do they need to go for driving school? No, you don't need to, because driving, as long as you can drive a car, as long as you can drive a car, you can turn, the signs or whatever. That's the only thing that is required, basic driving. Because at the end of the day, when you come here, you won't be on a stand, you won't be stuck. Especially if you know how to drive, it will be very easy. You don't even have to spend any more money to go for driving school. of which you can plan, you can decide. That's a decision that someone makes. You can decide, I don't want to go to driving school. I want to go and go to driving school in the US, which is more costly, guys, because it's like close to $500. That's what I can say. So that's your choice. But as long as it doesn't matter whether you have been driving, where you have been driving. My husband used to be a driver in Kenya, so he didn't have a problem. When he came in, he just went for driving. He just read the little book, because you have to read a little book, and then you go and do your theory. And then after you do your theory, then you're gonna, after you do your theory, then you go for the driving test, and he passed the first time. So if you know how to drive, that's a plus. That's what I was talking about. And I need you guys to get it like very, 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 very clearly, because I want to know that you are understanding what I am saying. So if you are driving in another country, then you're good. You are good to go. I am turning. This is a farm area. This is a farm area. The trees, I don't know if you guys can see this side. I'm going to try and turn my video camera a little bit. If you look at the other side, this person, yeah, if you look at there, you see those are farms. This is a farm area. Now there's another person who wrote a question and said that they did not include their kids in the DV lottery. Now, that one, I've talked about it like so many times, guys. Now that's one of the mistakes that you can make for your DV lottery, guys. Leaving family members. Like, you can't leave them, guys. And I'm gonna join that question with another one that the lady was asking about stepchildren. They are married and they have stepkids. Even your stepkids, when you read the rules of the DV lottery, I'm gonna try and look. I have so many videos. I have to figure out which one I had talked about the rules, because they are there, and maybe pin it so that you can see it. You find that when you talk about the rules of the DV lottery, they are well stipulated, like they are there, and they tell you that when you are applying for the DV lottery, you include your kids, you include your stepchildren, even children from previous marriages. You include the children that were adopted legally. You have to include everyone. And I do remember there was this lady that I conversed with like for a while, and she had won her DV lottery, but she had an adoption process that was going through, and then we were just talking, and then I was like, I think the best thing is just to complete your adoption thing, because she had included that child on her DV lottery, and then you can go ahead and process. And I'm sure right now she has processed everything. I haven't had contact with that person, because I like to talk about the stuff that I have seen, and the stuff, like, you know, that I know. So if you left your family members, what are you gonna go and say if you include them in the DS-260 and you're going for your interview? Because I will ask you, where did these kids come from? Why were they not included in the DV lottery? Because that's the question that they ask. So automatically, if you didn't include them and you want to include them in your DS-260, then that will bring you problems, because the rules, and you find that here in the US, because the rules are have been stipulated, and you're expected to read those rules. And that's one of the things that makes me do my DV lottery videos, is that if you didn't include them and you show up and you have included them in your DS-260, they will just remove the rules, and then they will be like, you didn't include your children, then why? You know, that could be like a potential thing that would cause you like not get your visa. So those are some of the things that you shouldn't do, because they shouldn't be done. It's important to read their regulations, because the DV lottery is good, but it has rules that must be followed. And if you follow those rules, especially when you're doing your application, you know, I was thinking, another person asked me if you have so many wives, like which one do you include? You know, here in the US, you're only allowed, the law just allows someone to marry one wife. So if you have two wives, I don't know, like, I know especially in Kenya, people are allowed to marry many wives. So I don't know which one you can include, or which one that's a choice that a person needs to make by themselves. But you find that if you have kids and you have step kids, then you have to include those kids. So those are some of the things that are very crucial when you are applying for the DV lottery, like very, very, very important. Now, there's another person who reached out to me. They're telling me that they're almost here coming, and they were asking me like, should they be worried? Is there anxiety or whatever it is? Now, what I can say is that at first, because you're going to the unknown. The place that you are going to is unknown, because you have never been there. You don't know anything about that place. So I would say it is unknown. But you have a host. And that's why it's very, very important for you to have a host, and to have a good host, because your host will determine the first, the person that you land in will determine your success or your failure, because you are relying on that person for very many things: to go to the store, to get a job, to be settled, maybe to look for an apartment, maybe to buy a car, because sometimes, because you don't have credit, your host will be required to co-sign with you. Even when you're going to look for an apartment, your host will be required to co-sign with you. And those are things that I have done, So, unless you want to go and buy cash, a car that is cash money, and sometimes they're there, the cars that you can buy with cash, maybe $2,000, $3,000, but it doesn't, those ones, I hope you can see the farms. I hope you can see the farms. So those ones, if you buy a car that is worth that amount, you find that it might not give you the service that you want. So it's good to wait and buy a better one. But although cars are very expensive right now, but and why I'm saying that is that I was having a conversation with another lady, just a conversation, and then she was like, I bought a car off of Marketplace, and it was $2,000. And then I asked her, how is that car gonna help you? I just questioned, and then she was like, it's gonna help me, to do what I need to do. But then she didn't have luck with that one, because it just broke down, and she kept on taking it to the mechanic. And then I was asking her, you keep on taking it to the mechanic, when you look at the money that you are using to have it fixed, why didn't you just go and buy a better one that you can just be making payments, and you don't have to go to the mechanic? Because here, labor is very, 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 very expensive. So those are some of the things that you have to look at. And if you have a good host, they're going to tell you all that, all those stuff about it. Because if you go to a state like the one that I live in, you will be required to have your car. So the person who is coming in May, you should not be worried. Your host should be able to guide you. The first thing you get is a job. The second thing you get a car. If you cannot be able to get a car, then get a job that is get an apartment that is near your job, that you can be able to walk, and if you have kids, get a school that is near that apartment. That means you can go to work, and you can take your kids to school. For the time being, you can start without a car, and you are just living within the same vicinity of where you are working and where you are living and where your kids are going to school. That one works. Although if your children are going to a public school, within that district, you normally get a bus. They get free public transportation. So that one is no problem. But I'm saying it's good to be near. You know what I mean? So that should not be a problem, but especially if your job, if seriously, you really do not want to buy a car first, then get a job that is near where you're working. That's very, very important. So you should not worry if you're coming in May. You will come, and you're gonna feel like you're kind of a visitor, that you don't know very many things at the beginning of the month. But as time goes, right now, if you talk to Anne, she knows so many things. She has worked for several months. She has, she knows stuff. She's almost now to get her own apartment. So she has been doing well. Now, there's another thing that I wanted to talk about, and I am forgetting. I don't know why I'm forgetting. If I remember, I'm going to talk about it in this video. If I don't, then I will talk about it in another video. Now, so I don't know if I talked, let me see. So the other people who have been asking, how do they reach me? Now, for you to be able to reach me, go to my Facebook page. Now, I have been asked friend requests by so many people. I looked at the number, it was more than 500. Now, I cannot accept right now because I'm already the max 5,000 subscribers for 5,000 friends. Those are so many friends. So what I need you to do, I need you to go to Charity's Bubble fan page, because I do have a fan page. I need you to go there and follow me there. If you go there and follow me at the Charity's Bubble fan page, then you will be able to see what I am doing, whatever, because I post maybe some of the things, I post them on my Facebook pages. And you can reach me if you message either on my Facebook fan page, or you message me on even on my my thing for just my personal Facebook at Charity Nganga. Then you will be able to reach me. Now the other question that I wanted to talk about, I just read a question. It was a comment that was on my Facebook page that the person was asking me a question. They were like, did you know before you hosted her? Like it looks like, did you really not know her before you hosted her? Like, honestly, I did not know her. I just decided that I was going to help her out. And, you know, that's something that we decided as a family, that we were going to help her out. Like, she was, we didn't know her. She was a stranger to us. But then we were like, do good. You know, in this world, you have to do good. Sometimes you have to look for blessings from God. You know what I mean? So we just decided to open our doors to her, just to help her out. Because she didn't have a host, and she was saying that she was stranded. And so that's what we did, is we didn't know her. And you might find someone like that who is willing to help you out, who is willing to extra mile. You know, there are always challenges, but you find that if you are that kind of person, and maybe you live here in the USA and you're able to host a person, then go for it, do it. You know, it's the work of God that you're doing. So I needed to answer that. So that person was like, did you really not know her or whatever? No, I didn't, guys. She just reached out to me she reached out to me through my Facebook page. And then I was like, okay, then that's okay, then I will host you. So I hope that I've talked about several of the things that you guys asked. Continue asking me questions, because I normally do rely on what you are asking me, and I try to answer those questions according to my experience here in the US, and also according to my knowledge, because I've lived here, and I don't know everything, but I can guide you like on how to do it, or how to be successful. So guys, continue subscribing to my YouTube channel. Always make a comment, always give those like emojis, guys. So I'm going to work. I have a 12-hour shift ahead of me, so I will see you in another video. God bless you, and thank you very much.